Hi, everybody. My name's Joe Treadwell. Welcome to the latest edition of Uptime with APC. I'm your host, Joe Treadwell. I'm also the National Account Manager for Ingram Micro. So I manage the overall relationship with APC and Ingram. We're excited to be here today. We've got our topic today is all things APC and as it relates to networking UPS. And on with us, we're lucky enough to have Mark Kaloudis. Mark, welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks, Joe. Good to be here.
So I've been with the company, I think I mentioned this on our last episode, about 14 years. And once again, I think I'm beat by you. So you've been with APC for how long now?
Just a little bit over 20 years, believe it or not. Yeah, hard to say that.
Wow.
Actually, but
yeah.
It's been a good run.
So you've seen the category change a lot, right? You've seen, we APC developed this category or created this category back in the 80s, I believe it was, and you've seen it really progress. And Can you kind of give the viewers just a little bit of context around who you are, what your role is within the company, so kind of again add a little context to the conversation?
Sure, yeah, for sure, Joe. So again, Mark Kaloudis, been in product management most of the time here at APC and then Schneiderelectric. I've worked in different parts of the business, including in our backups product line, our surge product line. We used to have an AV product line. And then I was in our non-IT product line, which is kind of our special applications. And for the last 2.5 years or so, I've been leading the business power products, which includes our SmartUps Online, and single-phase Symetra products. So it's been an interesting trip. Really enjoyed it, and really excited to bring some of the new SmartUps and SmartUps Online products to market.
And your role is a global role too, right? So you've got sight into pretty much all around the world, everything we're doing in each region.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. So I manage a team of product managers, and we're developing products for everything from the U.S. to East Asia, Europe, Middle East, Africa, et cetera. So we have a global scope.
Very, very cool. So all right, so let's go ahead and jump in. So for those of you who may be less familiar with the UPS category, we really look at it as you've got your desktop UPS, which is really a battery backup or a UPS that's geared towards a workstation. Then you have really what our main category is networking UPS. So that would be for your servers, your networking gear, something that you can dial into or remotely manage. So that's really what we're focused on today for this conversation. That's really the big play in the B2B space for us. So Mark, again, just jumping right in, can you talk a little bit about some of the big trends that we're seeing in the networking UPS space?
Sure. Yeah. So, some of the trends have been around for a little while. Some are kind of newer, but one of the trends that we're seeing continued push towards is a move to the edge. Another one that we've seen is an increase in the amount of power per rack. So if you look at the rack density, I've read studies where it's moved from about 2.4 kW to about 8.4 kW over the last nine or 10 years. So a significant increase in the amount of power that equipment in the rack is drawing. And then, obviously we're seeing the proliferation of lithium-ion. That's something that a lot of our customers have been asking for. We're developing a lot of solutions. I'm seeing competition doing similar. And then, just the general need for increased resiliency and uptime. That's always been why customers buy our products, but the need is even greater than ever before. And then finally, just a re-emphasis, I guess, on sustainability. Something that we're starting to see customers ask for, something that's really been core to our mission for some time, I think, as a company. But what we're seeing is that, really, the market is starting to really look for a sustainability story that helps them tell their own sustainability story as well.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of trends driving the category as a whole and our go-to-market strategy. Can you talk a little bit about how some of those trends are driving what we're doing from a product development standpoint?
Sure. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the move to the edge and the increase in rack density. And I think a great example of how we're responding to those trends is we recently released our SmartUps Ultra 3 kW. And basically, this is a product that is half the size of anything else on the market, including our own existing online 3K. And it's also about 50% lighter. And so the benefit of that is obviously it takes up much less room in the rack, but it's also so light and so flexible that it could be mounted on the wall, it could be hung from the ceiling without the need for any additional hardware.
So I'm actually showing one of the slides here, Mark. This is the vertical slide for you folks looking at it. And then as Mark just said, you can see this is a 3 kVA UPS, Ultra UPS, in a 1U form factor. And then switching to the different mounting options you just mentioned, it's so light we can wall mount it, tower mount it, mount it in a 2-post rack. So there's a lot of flexibility there.
Absolutely. One of the nice features about it too is that it has an auto rotating display. So as you're switching from that rack orientation to the tower orientation, it automatically switches, much like your iPhone or other smart device would do. The other thing is, because it's so light, it actually only takes one person to install. Whereas if you look at anything else on the market, it's a 2-person install. So your labor costs are reduced in the installation of this product as well.
So without getting too far into the weeds, because I know Mark and you and I have had a lot of conversations, and we always talk where, hey, I got a 5-minute conversation and 50 minutes later we're still chatting. So without getting too far into the weeds, can you talk just a little bit about how are we able to get more power into a smaller form factor? Because that's such a key trend. You mentioned density. So how are we able to do that?
Yeah, so there's 2 aspects to density. There's power density and energy density. Energy density is something that's enabled through the lithium-ion battery technology. And that's something, again, we're seeing from, not only ourselves, but also from our competition. Power density is different. So power density is enabled through next generation semiconductor technology. And in essence, what this has allowed us to do is shrink the power electronics so much that even if you compare our lithium-ion product to others on the market, we're still about 30% lighter and 50% smaller than anything else out there.
So we talk with partners a lot, and we talk about, I think that really encapsulates how, a lot of people that are familiar with it, they know it's a lot more than just a battery in a box. And when the power goes out, it happens to keep your gear running. There's a lot more technology and true technology built into this. So, you've mentioned lithium-ion a little bit. Can you talk about what's our strategy around lithium-ion? Everybody knows, traditional UPS battery technology is sealed lead acid, similar to a car battery. Now we're seeing this big move. So how is lithium-ion playing a role in our strategy?
Yeah, so lithium-ion is definitely a newer technology that's gotten a lot of buzz. Obviously you're hearing about it in the EV market and power tools and all over the place. So lithium-ion is definitely a chemistry that a lot of people are looking at, a lot of industries are looking at, and it really delivers not only a better energy density, which is how we're able to get a smaller product, but it also has a better calendar and cycle life, meaning that it lasts much longer. So calendar life relates to how long it lasts. And typically we'll say that a lead acid battery lasts 3 to 5 years. A lithium-ion battery lasts 8 to 10 years. So, up to about 3 times as long. And then as far as the cycle life, what that has to do with is how many times you use the battery, right? So each of them have a finite number of uses, but the number of uses for a lithium-ion battery are considerably greater than a VRLA battery or lead acid battery. So, it allows you to use it more over a longer period of time. And that really meshes well with the move to the edge, because if you think about replacement costs, they're much greater the more distributed the environment, right? So as you have UPSs that are installed in the further reaches of your organization or perhaps across town, across campus, et cetera, the cost to replace those batteries goes up. And so the longer life really helps in that regard.
Yeah, and we get a lot of feedback from partners. Some partners like UPS or sealed lead acid better because they want to be able to go out and replace the batteries. A lot of partners, as you said, as they have, the more you get into a distributed IT, it becomes very cost inefficient to go out and spend billing man hours to send your technicians out and replacing batteries. So ideally, you set this UPS. I hate the phrase "set it and forget it," but truly, if we publish an 8 to 10 year lifespan on the hardware, in theory, when it's time to replace the battery, you replace the hardware with it. So, Mark, I know that we've got some really cool technology coming out, and we just launched our new ultra modular UPS, the new modular unit, as I mentioned. So, can you talk a little bit about that? I just switched to the next slide here, where it's got the really cool picture of that front image.
Yeah, sure. So this is the first single phase modular UPS with lithium ion. So that's, by itself kind of a big development. But what's really impressive is that it has roughly 2.5 times the power density of the predecessor, and it's more than 50% smaller and 60% lighter than both our previous model as well as other models that are on the market currently. Also, it's very energy efficient. It's actually Energy Star 2.0, so only UPS in the category that conforms to that Energy Star category.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just saying, and this is a great SKU. And then I just, if the folks look at the next slide here, you can really see this is the exploded view of the product, and you can truly see how modular this unit is. You can build it and adapt it to whatever you may need. So you mentioned before, this is a legitimate game changer in the space.
Yes, yeah, it is. It's obviously scalable, modular.
Yeah. So and for those of you guys who like cool lights and things, that you can see the green pictures or the green lights on the front of these battery modules. Those are actually, not only do they look really cool, but they're also very functional. Those go from green when operating properly to yellow when they're being close to needing to be replaced to red when there's a problem and they're not functioning properly. So there's a lot of benefits here. This unit out of the box comes in a 9U frame, and if I'm not mistaken, this one is weighs about a third of its existing sealed lead acid big brother. So, Mark, let's final topic here is talk a little bit about want to bring this whole conversation full circle. We've talked about a lot about resiliency, green technologies. Obviously, you mentioned sustainability at the beginning of the discussion. That's a key trend. Can you talk a little bit about sustainability and how we're bringing that technology to the market?
Sure. So, we're really trying to embody green thinking in all of our product development strategies. And so I think that this is actually a great example of that. As I mentioned, it is Energy Star 2.0 compatible, meaning that the efficiency is very, very high. It's also got a much lower embodied carbon. As I mentioned, it's about 35% lower compared to the existing product on a unit basis, or about 45% lower on a per watt basis. We've also reduced the amount of plastic by 86% as compared to the previous version. And so it uses a lot of aluminum, which is actually certified. So about 75% of the aluminum that used in the product is certified as recycled. So it's got an extremely strong sustainability story, Joe.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, not only from a consumption perspective, but the raw materials going into it. I mean, the fact, would you say 86% reduction in plastic use just in constructing the product is amazing. So, all right. Well, tell you what, Mark. I know we've probably gone a little longer than we wanted to today. You and I always joke about doing that, but this is a great conversation. I think. Anyone who wants to learn more information, we always like to close out these discussions with, no matter how much, as a partner, no matter how much revenue you do with APC, you've got a dedicated sales resource. So reach out to us. We covered a lot of ground today, but we've got experts like Mark that we can tap into for product information. We can help you guys build the solution. So reach out to us on every opportunity. Bring us in early. We'll be the experts for your business and extension of your sales force from a product standpoint, from a pricing standpoint. So, Mark, again, you and I worked together for a long time. You're a tremendous asset for our company, and we appreciate all you do. And thanks to everyone at Ingram for making this partnership strong. So thanks for everyone for your time, and we'll be talking with you soon on another episode. So thanks again.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you, everyone.